I am Vince Clortho, Keymaster of Gozer. Volkas Sildro, our Lord of the Cebulia. Are you the gatekeeper?
Well, I guess I am now. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Look, I know this video may be interpreted as an attack, but let me be clear, I'm not calling anyone specific.
我哋話在座咁多位都係垃圾。
Jokes aside, do not harass whoever you believe to be a bad critic. It makes you a piece of shit and it helps spread their nonsense anyway. This video is just a tool to help you spot bad reviews, formulated from my personal experience of doing the exact stupid shit I'm about to criticize. Finally, remember, the dose makes the poison. 1, 2, or even 10 videos do not invalidate someone's entire body of work. It's only a problem when it is a persistent trend. With all that out of the way, let the gatekeeping commence. Let's address the most common misconception, that film reviews are just opinions. I don't like it does not mean it sucks. A vibe-based statement like this is not critiquing anything from the film. How you feel about a movie does not necessarily reflect the film's quality. Consider an extreme case, Roger Ebert's review of The Birth of a Nation. Directed by D.W. Griffith, the film pioneered the use of moving cameras, cross-cutting, and dynamic close-ups. As Ebert points out, it codified and demonstrated the language of cinema for all future films to follow. The film is also hated for its overt racism, portraying the KKK as heroic saviors of white farmers against rampaging free slaves, a legacy still infamous to this day. Facing such contradiction, Ebert wrote, "All serious moviegoers must sooner or later arrive at a point where they see a film for what it is, and not simply for what they feel about it." Ebert's thesis, as I understand it, is that Birth is a masterfully crafted film in service of evil. The film made real-world impact. It revived the popularity of the Klan, therefore, we must study it. And thus, his review provides context on how the film is perceived. He pointed out the film's aesthetic innovation and its unparalleled recreation of Civil War battles. He then showed how the very artistry amplifies its racist message. It is a review of the film from all angles, not a simple verdict based on opinions. A sillier example comes from essayist and part-time warlock Dan Olsen of the YouTube channel Folding Ideas, who once reviewed all the 50 Shades movies. We all know those movies suck ass, but Olsen did not approach them as such. He considers the difficulty of making a film that functions both as a standalone and as part of a trilogy. He separates genuine missteps from problems caused by a nightmare production. And when the film did something right, he acknowledges it.
Anyway, Sam Taylor Johnson and Kelly Marcel are far better storytellers than Erica Mitchell, and they understand Mitchell's story better than she does, as evidenced by the closing moments of the film where Anna goes to leave, Christian moves to intercept her, and she tells him no.
Stop. No!
Did he like the film? No. But Olsen was not blinded by the film's reputation. To critique a film is not to justify our disdain. We have to put our feelings aside and explore what each film does. On our channel, we try to follow this approach, though obviously not as sharply or as scholarly as the greats. Still, while I love Mulan, I can admit its flaws. I dislike Shin Godzilla, but I can respect its brilliance. My gut tells me that Naja looks ugly. That doesn't mean I should think it is bad character design. What if the movie wants him to look ugly? What if the film wants me to judge him, just as the whole world does? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Sharing it is easy. Sharing analysis is much harder. Being able to evaluate craftsmanship with unbiased eyes is a fundamental skill required for film study. Critics, listen. I'm tired of scrolling through your social media. Go make a website with Squarespace. The text limit and the formatting of social media is rarely well suited for any in-depth analysis. If you want to establish your credibility, you need to write better and you need to display better. With Squarespace, you can tailor your website however you wish. Bolden your text for emphasis, display image next to your reviews, write the Suicide Squad instead of the Unalive Squad, your turf, your rules. With the Fruit engine, starting and editing a website is as easy as typing out your review. Of course, if you are feeling fancy, you can also match each page with the color of the film. Start a free trial at squarespace.com/accentincinema, use the code accentincinema and you can get 10% off your first purchase. Establish your professional image and expand your creative freedom with a website from Squarespace. Visit squarespace.com/accentincinema and get started today. Next is a sign I find most telling. If someone thinks every movie sucks for the same reasons, chances are they are not critiquing, they're doing social commentary. Nothing wrong with social commentary, we do it too, but a few videos per trend is plenty. Now, I don't want to target anyone, so let's use a ridiculous, hypothetical example. Imagine a reviewer who thinks all modern Hollywood movies are bad because the unrealistic, strong female characters are emasculating young men. I know this sounds like a stupidly unrealistic belief, but just as an excuse, let's ask why. No, seriously, try it. It's super effective at poking holes in arguments. Sue Storm is too powerful. Okay, why is that a bad thing? If you are a critic, asking yourself this question will help you improve your writing immensely. Firstly, why does unrealistic automatically means bad? Cinema is full of unrealistic heroes we still love. Secondly, if strong women undermine masculinity, then why don't strong men also undermine femininity? If they do, then why isn't it equally bad? If your answer is men are naturally stronger in real life, then we loop back to the question of why does unrealistic equal bad? If the argument is that Hollywood overdoes this trope, then we are not critiquing a movie, but a social trend. And that's fine, but let's call it what it is. No two films are the same, thus no two movies are bad for the same reason. Take critic Christy Lemire, whom I used to love until she gave live-action Mulan a positive review, so now I only respect her. She criticized both Mulan and the Marvels for lack of emotional connections, but in very different ways. For Mulan, the issue was performance. Liu's performance might have been more powerful if she'd been a bit more emotive. For the Marvels, it was narrative focus. But Larson and Paris, while individually charismatic and commanding, can only do so much to convey the heartache of a shared trauma when it's wedged in between blandly frantic action sequences. Granted, these are not in-depth analysis, they are spoiler-free reviews, yet even here, Lemire's critiques are tailored. In criticizing the visual of the Marvels, she doesn't just say it looks bad. She points out the fake prop, the poor compositing, and the tasteless lighting. She uses 3 examples to assess only the visual, then combines visual with story, acting, and even musical score to give a final conclusion. It's a review built from the ground up. Our gut reaction is often binary, either it's good or bad. But to critique a film is to engage with every aspect of it. Story, visuals, editing, music, performances, etc. Rarely does a single element define the entire film. A good movie can have weak spots, and a bad one can still shine in places. Bad CGI didn't stop The Mummy from being fun. Good VFX doesn't make Transformers a masterpiece. This is just my speculation, but if someone dismisses an entire movie with a single criticism, let alone a recycled one, then they're just reverse engineering a reason to justify their gut feelings. Lastly, and most snobbishly, sorry man, I just don't trust reviewers who, year after year, only ever brings up classic Hollywood blockbusters. If every comparison is to the same classics, Terminator, Alien, Indiana Jones, then they are not really critiquing cinema as a whole, just echoing pop culture nostalgia. When we did our video on the disappearance of silence in movies, we used Conan the Barbarian and Superman 78 to demonstrate the power of silence. I want to prove the point that even the most mainstream films have powerful silent scenes. So I picked the most popular films. And yet, a lot of you haven't seen Conan the Barbarian, have you? Around the same time, essayist Thomas Flight covered basically the same topic. The film he chose to demonstrate the power of silence was The Exorcist.
But this isn't a scene from a meditative character drama. Instead, it's from the biggest blockbuster spectacle of that year.
In trying to prove the exact same point, we picked very different films. Hilariously, I have not seen The Exorcist. Indeed, it's very rare for critics to only ever bring up films you have seen. Take Patrick H. Willems, a YouTube film essayist with a focus on the Hollywood mainstream. James Bond, Spider-Man, Star Wars, The Matrix, all nostalgic franchises you already know. A few months ago, he made a video on the evolution of flying scenes in preparation for the release of Superman. So, where did he begin his story? The 1978 Superman? No, that's what a hack who can't tell the difference between a squirrel and a chipmunk would do. Instead, Willems began with the 1924 Peter Pan, a film most of you have never heard of. It's not just movies either. Friend of the channel, Terrence from Quality Culture, once made a deep dive into the Rush Hour series. He contextualizes the films with articles, studies, news reports, and brought on fellow critic FD Signifier to add even more perspectives to his video. That's what good critics do. When they're curious about something, they explore it further. No one has seen every movie. The more we branch out, the more we specialize, the more our repertoire diverge. But we don't always remember that. We assume we are the normies, and what we have seen is universal. So when a reviewer references an obscure film as if everyone knows it, it is a sign that they are exploring. Conversely, critics who cling to the same films for years reveal a lack of curiosity. It's an obvious sign that someone doesn't see cinema as a field of study. Instead, they cocoon into the nostalgia, seeing every new film through an unchanging lens. The only reason they do, I assume, is because they believe they already know all that is necessary. If they aren't learning, then what else are they doing but reinforcing their existing beliefs? Bro, you're just jealous they are more popular than you.
No, I'm not dim. I'm aware envy consumes my every waking moment.
Let's be clear. If I really want popularity, I wouldn't have spent time introducing movies you have never heard of. In my experience, the videos that get the most clicks are often about topics people already know. They are safe, predictable, and comforting. After all, most people come to YouTube for entertainment, not challenge. How often are we excited by difference of opinions? That's why I feel incredibly lucky to have all of you here, listening to this really accented, allegedly Asian dude rambling about shit that is off the beaten path. To be curious is to be open-minded, and that is 1,000 times more valuable than chasing meaningless popularity. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a keymaster, willing to open doors and see what's on the other side.